unlike the old program where, you know, everybody and anybody could get on the waiting list. The new program is tied to the availability of funds, and that's tied to the sales tax, and the sales tax isn't going anywhere great. So the authority is faced with a situation of, over the next 10 years, we're going to have more demand for projects than we can afford to finance. So from the state taxpayer standpoint, you know, when we've got districts that are in close proximity and have building projects coming up at the same time, I think it's understandable that we want to make sure we're coming up with a plan that's an efficient use of state dollars. Obviously, towns are free to do any of these projects on their own dime, but in Massachusetts, that's very rare that ever happens for understandable reasons. So that's partly what's driving this.
And we had David Ziskin to come out, and Mary, you're more probably briefed on that than I am at this point. We've done a pretty thorough analysis of the facilities in Lunenburg and sort of the possibilities and potential within them. And so I didn't know if after Jeff sort of just regionalization, if you had anything from David on the Lunenburg situation after that. But.
Right. We did have the opportunity to go through North Middlesex, as well as we started off here at Lunenburg High, but we ended up touring all the facilities here in Lunenburg. So, because we were discussing some of the various options, and exclusive of the regionalization portion for Lunenburg, my understanding in leaving the meeting was that a potential goal for Lunenburg by itself would be a reduction of 4 facilities to 3. So we felt it important to come and see all the facilities here so that we might understand better any such discussions, just looking exclusively at Lunenburg.
And maybe I should talk a little bit about the regionalization piece, which is sort of we've got these two concentric circles going on here. One is the facility issue, and one is the regionalization issue that my department is taking the lead on. Talk about the state's perspective on that. They're obviously interrelated, but when we discuss regionalization, we're really talking at the district level, and may or may not involve school building consolidations. It's, you know, again, sort of a separate parallel issue. Catherine alluded to, and as you all know better than anyone, dealing with your school budget every year, school funding in Massachusetts is stretched to the limit. We are putting increasing demands on school committees and school districts every year. The fact that Massachusetts is leading the nation in test scores doesn't mean we're not going to continue to push the envelope. You know, we're just rolling out now the science MCAS graduation requirement. If you go back to the 1993 Education Reform Act, we've still got history and social studies to engage in. We've still got world languages to engage in, and I'd argue that's probably as important as anything for our kids to learn foreign languages for the next century's jobs. That's all going to take resources. You know, we've got art and music programs that many districts have been cut back. Again, I won't belabor that. The fact is, state funding over the next few years is not going to match our level of need. Simple as that. So we're looking at every opportunity to try to make our K through 12 system more efficient, more effective, and you know, that ranges everything from trying, maybe not too successfully, for getting our share of the federal dollars, to making sure that our health insurance costs are under control, and that's been a big issue everywhere. And looking at the size of our school districts is clearly one of many pieces we're looking at. From where we sit, we're looking out over a state that's got 325 operating school districts for less than 1 million kids. That's a very high number of districts when you look around nationally, and it creates some costs. And as we look at the whole system, it creates for small districts a higher administrative cost. The statistics bear that out. It's simple as realizing that if you have a central office and district that's got 8 schools doesn't require twice as many resources and staff as if the district had 4 schools. There's certain economies of scale. I guess we're not talking about getting up to the level of 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 kids where you actually go past the point of economies of scale and you start having some diseconomies because of the size. But based on the data we've looked at, based on some of the research that the Regional School Association has done in partnership with us, there seems to be sort of a sweet spot in terms of administrative efficiency, somewhere in that 5 to 7 to 8,000 student range, maybe up to 10,000. And yet we've got 200 of our 320 school districts are under 5,000. So it's frustrating for us, and it's more than just simply the economies of scale. What you find, again, and I'm not speaking to any specific district, Lunenburg or any other specific district, but just what you find in general in the very smallest districts is you have administrative staff, the central office, that tends to take on multiple roles. And once you start getting to a certain critical mass, you start allowing yourself to have some specialization in educational leadership and administration that not only provides economies of scale, but provides a specialization that in turn lets you be more productive. When you have the same person who's analyzing MCAS test results and planning the bus routes for the district, you're not going to be very good at either. You'll do an okay job, but it's not as good as if you were really specializing in one or the other. We find in small school districts, we've been lucky to have Loxie here for a number of years, but overall small school districts have a higher turnover of superintendents, assistant superintendents, coordinators, simply because the economics are such that you can't pay salaries that are competitive with either the wealthier or larger districts, and it's anybody who's good, 50% chance that within 3 or 4 years they'll be moving on to a job where they can make 20, 30, 40% more. And much too much turnover, much too much difficulty. There are superintendent vacancies in recruiting good folks at the salary levels that a small district can afford to pay. And then, of course, there's the issue of simply the educational programs.